Professor Wheeler, this is Jerome Bosma, and I'm going to present to you the Week 5 assignment, the case problem 2. So this is the Ring Farms Excel assignment where we had to create a table and a pivot table and chart for the Ring Farms company. The first sheet is the documentation sheet where we put the basic information, which is pretty basic. The second part of the workbook was the expenditures table, and there we basically just replaced the the farm category with the payroll category. I did this by filtering initially, so that I could see all the farm category. I clicked in or typed in payroll and then used the autofill. When I unfiltered, all the previously the farm category was turned to payroll. That was pretty easy. Then for the Q5 sheet, I basically copied the expenditure sheet into the Q5 sheet. The Q5 sheet was about sorting the checkbook by ascending order by category, payee, and then date paid. So I opened the sort button and just input the sort levels, one after the other to get the sort the way I wanted it. And this is what I have here. And then I copied the expenditures again for the Q6 sheet, and the object here was to display all the expenditures for equipment and repairs in December. Again, I used these sort buttons to do that, and then did a custom, the filter buttons to do that, and then I did a special sort, by date, which just gave me these two categories within December. This is a little bit different. I initially do the Excel assignment on a Windows machine and then transfer them over to my MacBook to record the movie. So in some cases I'm not familiar with the buttons in Mac, but anyway, I'll do my best. And then in creating the Q7 tab or worksheet, the object here was to include all of the payees that had the name VET or the letters VET in them. So that was a filter that we did, or that I did, with the contains utility here, and that got me the result. I also added the total to the table here to show how much the totals were. This really, I probably should have deleted this. It's probably not useful for the for this table here, but I left it in. But what's important is the total. In the Q8 tab, the object was to basically highlight with yellow fill and dark yellow text all of the outstanding checks. So what I did was I filtered by the yes, and then applied the conditional formatting for those cells in yellow. When I unfiltered the whole thing, the outstanding entries were yellow and the other ones were the regular color. So this provides a good highlight. In worksheet 9, the object was to put in subtotals. That was pretty straightforward. I basically clicked the subtotal functions to the range. you can't really do subtotals on a table. So I switched the table back to arrange and then access the subtotal functionality to get all the subtotals here. Um, you have the category totals and then the grand total, which is very useful. In worksheet Q10 and Q11, the object basically was to put in a chart, was to do a pivot table, actually, excuse me, of the major categories and the expenditures by month, so that you could see what was spent during each month. If I click here, I should see the pivot table builder, as it's called, and I set up my categories and the row labels, the date paid and the column labels, so that you can see the months. I set it up also just to show the month, not individual dates, and then the sum of values here, and I think it worked out pretty well. We have the grand totals down here. After that was done, I created a pivot table chart where you could see each category by month. The different colors are the months. I kept in the legend there for more clarity, and I added a pivot table title up top. So that's how I did that. And finally, the last pivot table that I did was one where you just see the totals by category, and then a grand total at the bottom. The added challenge was to basically add a percentage of totals. Let me see if I can get the field list here. How do I do that? It's always a little tricky in Mac, but anyway, the trick was that I had to add basically, I had to basically put in the expenditures, like the sum of the totals. I had to put them again in the field list, and then switch them to percentages. This was tricky a little bit, but it worked out. And I'm sorry I can't put the field list back in, but let me see if I double click. No. Well, I really apologize for that, but anyway, it worked out. And that's the assignment for this week. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.